What's up, Hippo lovers? This is the ranking for the top 15 AoE4 players in the world. Obviously, I'm not really that capable of doing that list, so I asked the brains, I asked the players themselves, and I only did the math and averaged out the scores. I asked them to make some list for the top 15 players, and those were the players that reacted. We got a list of B from Wham, Beastyqt, Leenock, MarineLorD, and Mista. Mista did not include himself in the list, so instead of dividing it by 6 in his score, I divided it by 5, and that's how I measured him in this one. Let's take a look at the overall list and all the players. There are some surprising ones for sure, especially B's list will surprise you. So, player number 15, Keo, making it into the last round of N4C qualifier. Lots of deep performances. We also had a round of 8 in the first round of Golden League. Also a top 12 performance there. Some people had them, had him in their top 15. Some didn't. Everyone who wasn't in the top 15, I gave number 16, and that's how we got to this average. Then we have Kazva, obviously great performer from the early days. After that, no real deep runs. We didn't have him go into quarterfinal really deep or even scratching semifinals. Obviously close to qualifying for N4C as well, but didn't go through. Then we have the breakthrough performance, sort of, a name that a lot of people didn't know of, that weren't following StarCraft before, were only hardcore AoE4 fans, but has been grinding the ladder, has improved quite a bit, and had a strong top 8 performance in the first round of Golden League. Quick reminder, all this was done between, or basically before, Golden League round 1 was concluded. So people actually knew about sort of before he went pretty deep there. Or actually that was after the run. Yeah, correct. Recon still in there. Obviously couldn't make it to N4C. I think because he didn't have enough free vacation days. And still considered to be really good, a great mind, lots of people trading with him, lots of people having him in high regards. Then we have the two brothers. I personally wouldn't know who to rate higher there. Puppy Paw, Wham, kind of in that ballpark, certainly, and considered to be really, really strong. Which brings us to arguably the best player that did not perform in N4C, Mr. B. Crazy mind, lots of people super scared of him, scared of his strategies, and our number 9, Lucifron, 8th place there. And then we have the Muslim. A bit surprising to me that he got such a low score. I think he had a good shot of having a deep run there and could have had a really good group stage at N4C. But obviously falling a bit behind Golden League, only top 12 performance there. And doesn't feel like he is in the super grind right now. Followed by Leenock, which was quite a surprise for me that he was rated that low, only ranked 6. Obviously, the numbers after this one are the averaged out, so even a bit higher than 6 at average. Although he got into the finals of N4C, so that was rather interesting to me. And then Mista, as ranked number 5, obviously, as I explained earlier, a bit different number, simply because he didn't include himself in the list, so divided by 5. Followed up by the Viper. That was quite a surprise to me. Obviously, Viper considered to be the biggest improvement out of the top players, maybe together with sort of the last month. Heavily underperformed in N4C for his standards, and now lots of people feel like he is ready to take some tournaments. Vortex, number 3. We have MarineLorD number 2 and Beastyqt as number 1. Obviously Vortex, MarineLorD, Beastyqt, the top 3 from Golden League round 1. And kind of everyone could have taken the first one there. And we will see them in finals over and over again. I expect to see them for the next years in AoE4 tournaments. Crazy lineup. Different lists have different people as number 1 and number 2. MarineLorD obviously more successful in more different tournaments, but Beastyqt performing in the big one and now looking hungry. Quote unquote, only 3rd behind Vortex and MarineLorD in Golden League round 1, but yeah, could be a really interesting list, and that's also what people feel on the ladder, right? If you face them on the daily grind, you have a better idea than looking at some tournament results. Vortex, number 3, pretty clear there, and MarineLorD Beastyqt. The big question, MarineLorD, number 2, as of right now. Which brings us to the list of the people, and B's list is already absolutely crazy. I was really surprised when he wrote that list. He also gave me the explanation that he kind of rated this in relation to how much the players played and how much he felt okay, how big their potential is, because he rated the Viper as number 1, which is obviously quite a surprise. Then we have Mista as number 2, Wham as number 3, sort of, Vortex, and I will give you the full list. And even some interesting names in there, rated Dark as 12, Brew as 8, Hera still in there as well. So, yeah, you can get your feel there. And untypical, or like very different to the list of the other people. But he is a mind that works differently. We've seen that in his strategies. Very interesting to see. Leenock 14, the Muslim 15. But still, we average stuff out. That was my WhatsApp, not yours. And Wham's list here, as we can see, himself 10, his brother 11, MarineLorD at the top, Beastyqt as number 2, also Viper high rating, and sort of has an appearance there as well. Hut as number 13, Beastyqt's list, himself as number 1, MarineLorD number 2, Vortex 3, Leenock in there as well. Beastyqt really impressed by Leenock, felt like he was way better at N4C than he performed before. Recon even over Lucifron there at the bottom is putting in sort of as well. Leenock's list puts himself as number 3, Beastyqt, MarineLorD his top 2, followed by Mista, and also B squeezed in as number 9. So Leenock's list in the midfield, pretty similar to what we have in the end. And I think now I move myself over here so that you can see the list of MarineLorD. He sees Beastyqt also as number 1, MarineLorD, Vortex, Viper. It's kind of the list that we ended in. The Muslim, okay. Mista, Lucifron, Wambi, and Magic got some love there as well, which brings us to Mista's list, who did not include himself, but you can see that Zerton running are included there as well, Eric. So Mista grinded a lot. Quite interesting to me, I have to say. And lots of different approaches. Interesting to see how that one will develop. Obviously, we are relatively new into the game, half a year out now. And let's be back in 1 year and see how everything shifted. Was there someone that you think was completely wrong on that list? Someone that should have been rated higher or lower? Or some names that we forgot? Let me know down below. That's it from me. Goodbye. Hippo lovers.